Alright guys, welcome back for another video on the final season 2, and this is one that you guys have been asking me to do for a little while, and that is to do a tier list for all of the weapons in season 2. So now that does include the brand new weapons, which is the FAMAS, the 93R, and the KS23. So we're going to include those in this video today and jump straight into it. Now, keep in mind, this is my opinion on these weapons. It's not 100% down to data or damage or whatever. It's my opinion. It's what I feel. So if you guys agree with it, let me know in the comments. If you don't agree, also let me know in the comments. But we're going to jump straight into it now. And we're starting with the V9S pistol. Now, for me, the V9S is a really fun weapon. You guys know I love playing the light class. For me, I'm going to put this in B tier because I don't think it is the best light weapon, but I definitely think it is a really high tier light weapon. I think it's really, really good. I'm going to be super critical with these ratings as well. So just keep in mind, there might be weapons somewhere you don't agree, but again, it's just what I feel. The M11 for me, again, it did just get a buff in season 2 to the hip fire spread, I believe is what they changed on it. It still feels like a little bit of a pea shooter at times, but can be super useful up close, especially if you're hitting headshots. So again, we're going to go B tier with this. The sniper, I absolutely love the sniper and I'll use it and go to it every single stream. But for me, it is still not quite good enough. I like how it feels, but I'm still going to have to put it down in C tier. I don't think it's as good as it could be, but I don't quite know like what would make it better. It's obviously got pretty good damage. The range is pretty decent. I just feel like there's something missing that doesn't give it that sort of sniper feel. So I'm curious if some of you guys, maybe you can put it together and pop it down in the comments. Now, here we go. The XP54. This is my absolute favorite light weapon all through season 1 and still in season 2. It wasn't in the beta, funnily enough. Funnily enough, when I played the beta, the M11 was my favorite. But now the XP54, 100%, I think is S tier in my opinion. The damage that it puts out, the range that it's got, how quickly it fires, how quickly you can melt enemies, the fact that you can take out multiple enemies with one clip. I just really think that the XP54 in combination with the cloaking device is one of the most dangerous combos in the entire game. The knife is such a high skill weapon in the finals, but for me, I never use it because I don't like the way you have to play with it. You have to backstab a lot, which for me is not something that I'm good at, using the dash to get behind people. I prefer straight up front facing fights. So I'm going to put the knife in D, and I know that will piss off you little demons that do play with the knife. But yeah, just for me personally, I don't like the way it runs. We're going to switch up here and drop down the bottom to some of the heavy weapons. So the SA, I know, is an absolutely incredible weapon when used correctly. I'm going to put it in A tier. I'm really bad with it, but I know just how effective it can be because I've got teammates and people that I run with regularly that do use this and are extremely good with it. And if you get someone that is great with this weapon on your team, it is such a huge blessing, especially when being around cash outs and making sure that, you're nobody's stealing your cash out or just holding down the fort somewhere while you wait for a vault to pop. So definitely super effective in that sense. The flamethrower, I'm going to put at C. I think for me, the flamethrower is very situational. But in saying that, it's got ridiculous range for what it is. For a flamethrower, like it actually carries so far. And sometimes I feel like even as a light, I just get absolutely melted by this thing. However, I do feel like there's a lot of ways to outplay it, especially if you are running evasive dash or a jump pad or something along those lines. Then, people running flamethrower tend to have trouble against that. So for me, I'll put it smack in the middle. Let's go with the Lewis gun next. Lewis gun, I think, is A tier. I think it is a really strong weapon. I think it's one of those things where the iron sight is ugly, if you ask me. Like, it looks terrible. But if you get the recoil pattern down and you understand how the weapon works and you put enough time practiced into it, you can be an absolute demon of a heavy class with this weapon. Like, it just melts when you like land shots. especially if you're hitting headshots. It's super fun to use. And personally, when I play the heavy, on the very rare occasion that I play heavy, that's my go-to weapon right there. Let's do a couple of mediums. So let's go the revolver. I'm going to put D tier as well. As much as the revolver can be good, it definitely could be so much better. The difficulty that you can have with this weapon is that you almost have to be hitting headshots to be effective in a fight. If you're not landing headshots and you're only landing body shots, the TTK is so slow that it's almost not worth running. You could run most of the other medium weapons instead and take someone out much quicker. So I think the revolver needs to be buffed somehow. I don't know quite how yet, but maybe more body shot damage or a faster fire rate or rechambering speed or something along those lines. So whatever it needs to be to make this a little bit better, I think should be changed. AK, I'm going to put at A tier. AK is definitely one of my favorite medium weapons. The AK and the FCAR are usually my two go-to on the medium. Although I have been playing around with the FAMAS recently. We will talk about the new weapons as well. I know you can't see them down here, but we'll get into them in a little bit. The FCAR straight into S tier, easily the best weapon on the medium class. I know for some of you it's quite difficult with the lower mag, the smaller mag with the 20 rounds. But if you can master the FCAR, I was the same. I used to love the AK, swear by the AK. As soon as I got good with the FCAR, I didn't want to switch back. It was one of those things where it is an absolute laser, but I do bounce between the two every now and then. Riot Shield, F. Riot Shield's so bad. It takes 5 hits to actually take someone out. It's slow, it's clunky. The only advantage you have is if you want to have a bit of fun and be a pest with your teammates and all run Riot Shields, then yeah, sure, it can be fun, but I think it's pointless. Especially if you've got other melee weapons like the sword and the knife, they're both better than the Riot Shield. So speaking of sword, we're going to put that at D as well. Again, I understand some of you demons out there love this weapon and froth it and will stand by it because you can do the dash with the, lunge attack and just do all those kind of things that make it extremely useful. But for me personally, I hate using the sword. The LH1, I think this is underrated. I put the LH1 at B. I know it's Iron Sight's ugly. I know it's got crazy kick on it, but the damage output that you can get with this, I've run Invis and LH1 for a good portion of Season 1, and it melts. If you play around your team, you can just absolutely obliterate people. I don't care what you say. If you haven't given it a good try, go back and try it. Get used to it. Play it long enough that you can get semi-decent with it, and then we will talk about it because I think it's a really good weapon. GLs, I mean, again, it's just a noob tube. I put it at C. I know it's, as far as gameplay ways, it's probably better than a C, but I put it at a C because it's just such a newbie weapon. Same with the grenade launcher for the medium. I think they're both good, but like so cheesy. So I just don't bother using them. The M60 definitely needs a buff. I'm putting it D tier. I know they changed a little bit in the last update, but it's definitely still on that lower end of the spectrum for weapons. I'd love to see it up here at CB, but I think it still needs to be changed. There's no point running the M60 when you've got the Lewis gun there. That's basically the same thing. The only thing the M60 has as an advantage is the mag size. Shotgun for the medium, I am going to put B tier. It's a hard weapon to use, especially, I mean, me personally, I'm on controller, so I don't know if it's easier for keyboard and mouse players, but I find it difficult to use at times. And especially, when you've got people moving around so quickly, it can be harder to aim this at times. Throwing knives. Throwing knives, I'm going to put it C. It's probably between B and C. I know if you are really good with the throwing knives, they're really effective because I've seen some crackheads playing with the throwing knives and they're so good. But me personally, I'm going to put it at a C. Sledgehammer. Sledgehammer's tough. I've used the sledge and I know how effective it can be, but I'm still going to have to put it at C. Just the limited range that you get with it just makes it so situational. You have to be playing inside a building just about all times. So it kind of limits what you can do with it. The light shotgun, A, borderline S. Like the light shotgun is insane with how good it is. If you run light shotty with invis, you're a pest. I hate you, but holy, that is a powerful combo. So those two together make it really, really good. Now, as far as, all right, so the FAMAS, I wanted the FAMAS to be good because I think it's a great idea to put a burst weapon in here. I still put it in B. I think it's the lower end of B. I think it could potentially be really good if it had a little more damage output or maybe a slightly bigger mag. But yeah, where it is now, it's okay. Like if you play it the right way, it can be good. And you guys would have seen my YouTube videos on them, on the FAMAS, and it's decent. The 93 are same B. It's not bad. It's not great. It's kind of in that middle, like mid B, I'd say. And I've got a video coming out on this, or you may have actually already seen it. I think it came out. It was the last upload before this video. Now, this one, again, it can be really good at times, but it's just not beating an XP54. It's not beating a shotgun. It's not beating out the Lewis gun, the AK, any of the like medium loadouts. You have to really play like a pest and sneak up with people with this weapon. And then the KS23, I am going to put in B as well. The KS23, I've got limited playtime with. So for me, the playtime that I do have, it was extremely difficult to actually hit anyone with this, just due to the fact that the ADS is really strange. And with the speed that people move around in this game, it is very hard to hit someone, even on controller, with aim assist, all of that. It becomes extremely difficult. And I know I'm not the only person that's had these struggles with it as well. So there's a few things to consider when you guys are jumping back in. Again, this is my opinion. It's not 100% based on damage or facts or anything like that. This is purely just what I think of the weapons. I would love to see a buff to some of these lower weapons just to bring them up into these B section here. Like, I think that the revolver before they nerfed aim assist was so good, but since they've nerfed aim assist, it's just dropped off and is terrible. The sniper being a bit better would be great. Flamethrower, again, so situational. It's hard to really buff anything about that and not make it completely broken. GLs are just for noobs. And then, you know, these close range melee weapons, they're just not my playstyle. So the M60 getting a little bit of a buff would be cool. Like if they put the damage up on that thing a little bit, that would be really nice. I'd love to see it up in this B section here. But other than that, that's pretty much all I've got for this one. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of my tier list, and I will see you guys in the next upload.